Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope all is well for you today. And today I have an article from the RUNNY newspaper here in the UK, and the headline reads as such: Autism diagnosis stretched to breaking point, with numbers jumping 20-fold over the last 2 decades. The University of Exeter did a study which they studied 9 million people at GP practices across England. Also finds a greater increase in diagnosis amongst females and adults. The number of people diagnosed with autism has jumped more than 20-fold in the past 2 decades, with a marked increase seen amongst girls and women, which this study shows. In 1998, just 3,072 patients had a diagnosis of autism recorded within England, but in 2018, this figure soon ballooned to 65,665, with a greater rise amongst females. Adult autism diagnoses have been a feature of the rise, and the University of Exeter researchers who carried out this study believe that this huge increase in cases is attributed to better identification within females and adults. There has been a drive towards the referral of more women than girls in recent years, cutting the popular belief that autism is more of a male condition. This study has been published in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry, and it's the first of its kind to analyse the trend of autism diagnosis within British people by developmental stage, level of severity, gender, over a 20-year period. However, while the study has been welcomed, there are concerns that the diagnosis of autism has been far stretched beyond its breaking point. The University of Exeter researchers reached their findings by comparing the rates of autism in 9 million patients at GP practices within England. They said that the increase is due to increase in the recognition of the condition, but also an increase in autism cannot be fully ruled out. This is also due to a UK policy that was introduced in 2009 to invest in adult autism assessment centres, which may be behind the increased rise in adult autism diagnosis cases in England. Another factor could be that the 2013 decision to scrap Asperger's syndrome from the DSM, which is a form of autism that does not have any intellectual disability attached to it. The lead author of this study, Ginny Russell from the University of Exeter, has said, "As there is not really a plausible reason why autism should be increased more in all adults and females, our study suggests that the change is probably due to increased better identification and better understanding of autism, and not that more people have developmental disorders. However, autism is not like a continent awaiting its discovery. The definition of what constitutes autism has changed over our lifetime, and females and adults were not thought of being as having autism over 20 years ago. The work of charities and media coverage, and combined with changes within UK policy, has led to more assessment for adults and women than any other than before, and that women and girls are starting to self-identify." Professor Uta Frith of Cognitive Development at the University of College London has said, "This is an important study documenting the explosive jump in diagnosis over the last 2 decades. It strongly suggests that the diagnosis of autism has been stretched to its beyond breaking point. If the purpose is to predict where an individual needs support or where this is no longer possible, researchers need to think long and hard about how to disentangle the underlying conditions in individuals now labelled as being autistic. Without such labels and effort, research into the causes of autism will become meaningless." So what are my thoughts on this study as an autistic woman, I hear you ask? Well, great question. I find it interesting as an autistic adult that they have done a study of 9 million people. That's a huge amount of people. How and what types of questions did they ask for this study to be done? And what group of participant of people did they ask? Were these diagnosed people or people who were suspected of being on the autism spectrum? And how have they managed to keep an accurate record of all the people being diagnosed since 1998? Do we have a national autism register that they will log the patient and the diagnosis on? I want to also know how it has jumped from 3,072 people in 1988 to 65,665 by 2018. Why hasn't it suddenly jumped? Is it due to better identification of autism campaigns and better questioning? Would the people involved in this survey had to have agreed before time to be included in this survey as a participant? I will say that I agree with Professor Uta Frith from the University of London that autism diagnosis has been stretched to breaking point. But again, this is because too many people in the system are still waiting for an assessment or even a diagnosis at this point. I also agree with Ginny Russell, the lead researcher and author of this study, that the work of the media and charities has led to better and accessible more assessments for women and girls on the spectrum like myself who are starting to self-identify or have been fully diagnosed. I will link the article and the study down below in my video description. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and let me know if you agree with me or disagree down in the comment section, and I will see you next time, guys. I appreciate you. Bye!